The ribbon banned out as well here as Boom Esports on the blue side, and they don't want that to be first picked against them. A fair amount of engage, a fair amount of dive has been removed. We still have Lee Sin on the cards, very popular. We still have Senna on the cards, a very powerful pick. Anything else you want to see here? Gragas.
Gragas is now unlocked. So Gragas is usually picked for big disengage and as well as for big team fights. This means Divine will not be able, will second guess either picking Akali or all-in compositions. So we'll see what the adjustments are going to be this time around, because as you mentioned, Lee Sin plus Renekton are really strong red side first rotation picks. We've seen that back in the Summer Super Cup being picked up by Thailand and as well as Vietnam. So we'll see if that's going to be the plan this time around.
The Boom Esports and Divine Esports teams are both very calm for players constantly being electrocuted. I'm noticing there in the background. We get the lock in, the Lee Sin that we expected does come out in the hands of Len, one of his key picks. Tanax also gets his Renekton. It's the all-star squad for Divine.
Yeah, this is looking to be very scary because this means Len can set up for himself and potentially snowball, even set up tower dives for 10x at the top portion of the map. Now, the biggest question is what will be the matchup at topside, because this Gragas can still be flexed in 3 different roles. Could be Fly Arthur, could be Goff. But look at this now. If the Darius is locked in, that means it's going to be towards topside, and I feel like the level 1 could be dangerous for 10x here.
It is very hard to beat Tanax in lane. Both these top laners, it's kind of a similar style where the top laner gets left alone on an island to do their own business. But Tanax, kind of regardless of what happens in lane, always seems to show up to the mid-game with enough gold to make an impact on team fights. And despite Tufts' really strong domestic record, I struggle to see how even a Darius could dig Tanax out from behind the turret, do enough damage to him that this game ends for him before we get to the team fight.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. It is, Tanax just very comfortable no matter what matchup. We've seen this matchup countless of times with the Darius and the Renekton. So this is, familiar territory for him.
Ooh. Indeed, we get the Ari locked in by Boom, followed by an Aurelia. Divine Esports on the other side grab a Nami, probably the most popular support in Wild Rift right now. And follow with my favorite mid laner, one of Coyote's best picks as well, a Twisted Fate.
Yeah, this is such a classic. I'm gonna pop in level 5, drop in Destiny, and tower dive you at topside. And this will create pressure for Xiaoqi to see if he'll be able to get there in time, be that disengage, and try to punish out Divine Esports' aggression. So most of this, though, for the dual lane, they're just gonna be a little bit more chill. So most of the movements will come from Tan-X, Len, and as well as Coyote.
I'm a little bit worried because it's the all-star squad for Divine. It's everything they want. It's everything they get to win games domestically. Boom Esports do have some power picks, but it's going to be hard to put them together, I think, in these team fights.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult for sure, especially when Boom sees it coming. And now that they have Xiaoqi here on the Aurelia, we'll see how they'll be able to punish that.
It's game time. Game number 2. Boom Esports already down 1 in this best of 5.
And now for this level 3 is going to be very strong for Boom Esports. I can't imagine. You have the full kit coming from Tufts here on the Darius and as well as the Big Charm. So this may not be the same as a big wombo combo from earlier with Gov, Moonfall into the hero's entrance, but the apprehend to the charm can also be very deadly, plus the stuns from Xiaoqi. So with this, level 3 could be key. We'll see if Divine will maneuver around the power spike of level 3 and just wait for the big level 5 where they can impact the side lanes with Coyote on that Destiny.
And that's one of the things Coyote's really good at. We talked briefly about it, but why is this Twisted Fate one of the most powerful picks in Wild Rift right now?
Because if you have a strong jungler and as well as a strong top laner, it's just so easy to accelerate the game. And we know that a Lee Sin and as well as a Renekton can potentially snowball out of control. And that gold card and the utility a Twisted Fate brings to the table just amplifies that chances.
So you're looking to see Coyote, yes, bully this early lane as he's already doing, But after this point, it gets a little scary to be in lane. Ari is very good at getting up in your face and dueling. So if Coyote can get out of the lane, start teleporting into those side lanes, as you were talking about, Riku, that's kind of the win condition here for Divine.
Exactly. Come level 5, Coyote ain't gonna play for the lane. He's just gonna play for the side lanes. Fly Arthur, on the other hand, has the ability to assassinate him. Spirit Rush into the charm, and it could prove to be deadly.
First blood found in the mid lane, like we were talking about. You cannot sleep on that Ari. Fly Arthur just jumps into close range, finds the combo, gets dropped very low, but wins the fight. Bubble does land in the meantime onto Gov and Owen, but they'll survive, just poked a little bit by Hope.
Yeah, and this lane is going to be very poke heavy with the Nami and as well as the Ezreal. They do have to be careful because of that possible heavy engage that Gov can bring to that duo lane though, especially if you have Xiaoqi.
He's doing it again.
Again.
Oh, and the Blade Storm lands. Goodbye. A very easy kill as Fly Arthur combos with Xiaoqi in the mid lane.
If this constantly happens, then there's going to be zero destinies for the side lanes. It is just going to be Len and Han X having to fend for themselves, most definitely. Now the biggest question is, will Len try to relieve pressure in the mid lane? Because this has been the second time already in a short span of time.
Really impressive, aggressive play coming out from Boom Esports, and exactly what we were asking for out of game number 1. Can we see Xiaoqi impact the lanes a little bit more?
Yeah, and ramp it up to 3 times. That's exactly what we're seeing. And now Coyote has no choice but to be very, very wary of the ganks coming from Xiaoqi, because they're gonna keep doing it again. As long as Coyote doesn't have flash, he's just going to be very vulnerable. He's going to be stuck. Therefore, you know, level 5 spike ain't going to exist. There's no destiny place that's going to happen in the map. So boom, having that 2 birds in 1 stone, they also enable Fly Arthur to be the scary Ari that can possibly one combo and explode anybody from Divine Esports.
I mean, at this point in the game, you're just a gold card bot, frankly, if you're Coyote. Your job is to throw cards, get some stuns, and hope for the best. It's not going to be an easy bridge back into the game for a Twisted Fate that is this far behind.
Yeah, it's looking to be a very sad laning phase for Coyote so far. And that means, you know, Boom, or Divine rather, Len and Tanex are just forced to defend themselves. That means the possible snowball of Len or Tanex is just going to be slowed down a little bit. That means that is an opening for Boom to keep taking things away from Divine Esports. That means, you know, Dragons and as well as Rift Herald fights could go in favor with the lead that Fly Arthur has in the game.
I'm not sure what's caused our pause, but it's about the same time that we had a pause during game number 1. So maybe it's a ritual at this point. I'm just getting used to it, Rika. And we will be getting back into it very shortly. The lesson, I think, to draw from this early game is that we still haven't seen Len make a map impact. We are seeing a jungle difference, but not the one we predicted.
Yeah, that's true. Len has been invisible so far before the 4-minute mark. It has caused trouble for Coyote and Xiaoqi and Fly Arthur. You know, are having a feast a little bit. So now that the objectives are spawned, Infernal Drake will be very, very important, especially if they want to keep this snowball potential happening for Fly Arthur on this Ari. So they definitely want to take this one. Len, of course, you know, throws the gauntlet, waves the white flag. We're not going to try and fight you. We're just going to get this Rift Herald.
Very well done by Divine, and oftentimes a higher priority objective, the Rift Herald. That's not true on the Infernal Drake. The Infernal Drake is really terrifying here in Wild Rift. And Boom pick it up and go immediately into a lane gank. Here's Fly Arthur. Oh my lord. An easy kill. 2 of them. Fly Arthur finds 1. Turret just full up top to Divine as Tarnax groups up with Len for some map impact. For both Hope 1 and Quay are now very badly behind.
Yeah, that was a no mercy dive coming from Boom, but what is the response coming from Divine? It's looking to be like just defaulting to the 4-1, leave 10x all alone, just doing that split push. So now they're able to equalize the map across. But Rift Herald, though, has been unleashed in the mid lane, so Boom Esports will lose a little bit control over that part. So future objectives like the Air Drake. Destiny, though.
Destiny is popped, and oh dear, it's Hope who's in trouble. Gov on the TP, bullied out by Coyote as well. He will go down. 2 kills over to Divine. Out of our first real teleport. Coyote, trade one back, flash over the wall, gold card lands. There's the second. Owens just has to back away. As both his allies, they got Hope 1, but it's a 1-for-2 trade. And Len was looking for more, but he got his timing slightly wrong.
Yeah, he was hesitating a little bit, but with that, it is still Divine Esports just punishing the overextension that Boom did. I think they got a little bit greedy there, trying to get more. And Divine is right there on the timing. Again, Boom Esports cannot afford to do that. Knowing that there is that Destiny threat, was just able to get that numbers advantage in these 1v1s. So for Boom, we'll see where they decide to put their lead. Again, the lead is more towards Fly Arthur, so the charms is going to be very important. Most of the fights, he has to be present.
He's zooming right now. He's having a great game on that RE, just absolutely dominating the map. And nothing has yet shown a potential to equal him. We did see Coyote pick up those kills there, but it was very obviously just off the power of their unexpected teleport. Not a whole lot of damage being done by Coyote.
Yeah, this, Coyote's options now are to threaten any sort of 1-3-1 that Boom Esports is going to do, possibly Xiao's Key, and as well as Tufts, just making an impact in the side lanes. But, of course, there is on the opposite side of the spectrum, Hope 1. We're waiting for his 2-item power spike as the Ezreal. It is a little bit of, I wouldn't call it a flip, but usually, we get to see Manamune being fully stacked.
Len back in this stasis, down in the bottom lane. Xiaoqi manages to survive this entire exchange, but will be burnt to a crisp behind the turret. And Len with the follow-up challenges Fly Arthur, who goes in and is shut down. An easy pickup. Len will fall eventually, a 2-for-2 trade down bottom, but it's big advantage over to Divine.
And Divine is able to get kills on towards Len, as well as the carries that they want to funnel their gold with. And, Hope 1 and Quay was pretty much far away from that, so they weren't able to follow up with that dive. But, Boom is able to get at least revenge against Len over there.
I will say, Coyote actually has a pretty significant gold lead over Fly Arthur at this point. And I think that just comes from minion kills and the shutdown he collected. But it's kind of remarkable that Coyote is back in this after the disastrous early game he had.
Yeah, most likely, gold passive, just consistently farming, trying to make up for the loss in the early stages of the game. But now that Dragon is spawned, we'll see though, because vision-wise, I feel like Divine actually has a lot.
They do now. Destiny gate popped. Coyote can be anywhere, and he should be alongside Len. Here it comes. Coyote backed by a TP as they go in behind Len. Len's already dead. Coyote will follow, then trade it out for Owens and Fly Arthur in the middle of the map. It's going to be Tufts for a double kill. The Noxian Guillotine striking twice and bringing this game back in control of Boom Esports as that big fight will open up the Drake.
Yeah, there's definitely also that second threat, which is Tufts here on the Darius. Divine has to be careful with their HP bars. If they're low, the resets will be enabled on this Darius pick, and I feel like that's exactly what happened. And now they are rewarded for the second Dragon of the game. Usually, when we look back at Divine Esports' performances in, their tournament, it is them always having to get the timings of getting the Dragon and securing. But Boom so far has been doing a good job getting picks.
Tufts in trouble. Len up close. There's nothing he can do. And it's another kill over to Divine. As despite being at a kill deficit, they do have the gold lead once again, around 1,000.
And I feel like this is exactly why Boom isn't able to hammer down with their lead, because every single time they do something, or rather get an objective, they lose another. And Divine is just doing a good job sort of capitalizing on that, and the fact that, again, you can't exactly have a 1v1 scenario against Divine just because of that Destiny just popping in.
Oh. Always love those true shots that just feel personal. That one clearing out a little bit of wave, but mostly just hurting Gub. Joining Shadow across the map makes this fight down in the bottom lane a little more dangerous. Double kill passed over to Boom Esports as they had both Coyote and Len pretty low and clean it up before any escape can happen.
Yeah, really nicely done by Boom there. They knew that Divine Esports wanted to greed and clear the tower down bot, so Boom just exactly, okay, let's go there, let's punish and save the tower in return.
Gov, middle of the map now, looking for an angle onto Hope. He's on Ezreal though. It's a little difficult to find any substantive engage onto him.
They're just looking for this tower at this point. I mean, Ezreal doesn't exactly spell wave clear. They really need Coyote for this one.
Stunned against the wall, Gov's done it again! Excellent use of the explosive cask, and it's going to be a kill passed over onto Quay. Now Owen's trying to kite this fight back. They've got the GA proc. Good dodge from Vanguard dead. Coyote flashes over the wall. Out to the GA. Tarnex is in the middle of the fight. He trades one for one. Let's back in. They've done it. Divine turn the scrap over the top of Boom Esports. And there's nothing Fly Arthur can do except recall back to base.
Yeah, remember, most of the gold went towards Fly Arthur. We talked about this. He needs to be present. But because the fight was split into two, Coyote really did buy a lot of time. And therefore, you know, Fly Arthur, the rest of Boom rather, had to suffer against Tan X, Lin, and the rest of Divine Squad.
And not only have we finally started saying Len, but we're seeing what happened last game happen again. Tan X has hit the mid game. And no matter what happens, he's here, he's got 2 items, and he's ready to fight.
The Black Cleaver and the Sterak, so his survivability is just going to be a tad more on top of the Dominus, on top of the heals coming from Koi here on the Nami. So Boom really has to be careful. See if they can, you know, try to bait out the Dominus. Just try to exit. They do have that disengage coming from Gov on the cask, but, you know, so far, again, this is Boom. They want full-on aggression. They're going to use the cask to misposition someone, like the Ezreal, like this was Fate.
Destiny gate open. Nothing comes of it, at least not yet. And it'll fade. No engage off the back of it. Coyote just using it actually to get down to the bottom lane. Clear some wave down now.
Yeah, Boom wants to prepare for this dragon. The Ocean Drake will be very important for them, especially they're up against Hope, who's just gonna be very painful with their pokes. With the Omnivamp! Wow. Cask! Oh no!
Gov, what are you doing? So far forward, the Cap doesn't find an opportunity. And Owens can't follow up with the joining Shadows. Now they're just down a man. And what was that gold card? Reaching across space, and Simon finds the kill. The tables do turn back on the Coyote as the dive comes out and kill on Shockwave. He'll go for more underneath the turret. It's madness from Boom Esports. And they lose the trading 2 for 1.
And that is another domino effect. Unfortunately, you know, the attempt coming from God failed, but Boom wanted to go some more.
Now they'll find Tan X here as well. Tan just stands and fights him. He's renekton. He's not scared. He's a crocodile. And there's nothing Boom can do. Divine finds 3 more.
And there could be more, actually.
Yeah, Len was included in that 3. He hasn't died quite yet.
There it is.
There we go. Boom gets something back. Fly Arthur still scary.
This is no jungler.
Yeah, back on the map, and there is no jungler, like you were talking about. Shockwave is up. Len down another 30 seconds as a result of that kill. Tidal Wave will open this fight. Dove taking damage. Sharp bound, though. Explosive cask is the follow. And a beautiful engage from Boom. Will find a kill up to Hope 1. Tarnex, very low, will hop over the wall. Gold card in the meantime. Landing on the Fly Arthur. So he's got to kite back. Coyote will find the trade. Gold card. He's going to get 2. And he's got the ult already popped. So he can teleport away. Incredible stuff from Coyote. He gets out with his life. But Boom will take the 3rd Drake of the game.
Yeah, Coyote was insane in that 1v2 scenario. The target prioritization, having to who to gold card first. Fly Arthur didn't have any mana, so he only had one skill, and it was only the charm that he could dish out in that fight. Eventually was able to win. I mean, going up against a Gragas as well, you could have easily been stun locked, but Coyote managed to do that well, even escape the clutches of Tufts with a potential apprehend.
Keep them guessing.
So, 3 drakes. Okay, Len. Dive in, true shot,
Oh,
chunks.
no.
We're fine. So 3 drakes all over to Boom. That introduces a win condition. Would you like to explain for anyone who's newer to the game how this Elder works in Wild Rift?
Yeah, that's gonna be buffs on top of buffs. So this is gonna be incredibly scary for the side of Boom, because Divine still has to face that threat. And of course, their only option is possibly fighting around the Baron. Look at this though in the bottom lane.
A little bit of skirmishing. Tufts versus Tan. True shot will arc by. Wave as it goes past. Not a whole lot found though. But we start the Baron instead. Both those side laners scrapping their way back up here as the Baron's down to half HP. Boom started it, baiting the fight.
Fly Arthur!
Storming Shadow chunks, everyone low. But the Vanguard's edge did not land, and Hope 1 has already fallen. He found a trade for Fly Arthur. Jacques goes down in the back of the fight. Len with the dive. Does have GA still up, but he won't even need to proc it. 2 for 2 is the trading.
And now it's only 10x left. He's just gonna try to run away from this. But, you know, Boom, it
He's
felt
in his
like
element.
they could start the Baron perhaps, but they didn't have priority top side. They just want more kills.
I thought Tornax was going to be fine. He's in the river.
Destiny?
Governor. Coyote joins this fight. And really good use of the mist there from Owens just to keep him safe from that gold card. Coyote doesn't have the auto attack target.
Yeah, I was able to save the life of 10x there. Definitely needed him alive. I was about to say get the Baron, but Xiaoqi was perished in that fight. But just as you were talking, perished.
Rough
He
time
perished.
to be perished.
Oh dear. But yeah, you were talking about the Elder. I feel like Boom really needs thick shields coming from.
Now Cleve
Coyote.
finds a kill.
He's very far away from the rest of the team.
Yeah, I don't know. Coyote didn't have the ult up. Was just kind of vibing down there. And it could get worse for Divine. Tan-X is caught out here as well. He's going to jump forward and be chased down. Dodges the stun. It does not matter. Boom's roaming squad of death will find another kill here. They're going to come back towards the middle of the map, threatening this turret, burning it down.
Yeah, and they could get possibly another pick perhaps behind the tower. Maybe a little bit too risky because of the pokes coming from Hope 1 here and maybe a potential bubble. But they looks like they want to take advantage of 2 members down and want to keep going.
Incredible stuff. They're going to burn the inhibitor. Super Minion's now active. And Len, what do you do in the face of that? He's just going to hide behind this other inhibitor, but the wave's crashing. There's
Kick.
a ton of damage. Stun will find Len.
Oh.
Explosive cast. Split Hope up, but he's not tagged by the RE Charm, so Hope survives barely. Tan-X will respawn shortly, but Tufts is already dead. Owen's gone as well. TP available on the Destiny Gate. Led with the dive. Knocked into GA. Will survive.
Teleport.
And here is Coyote. TP on top of him. Tan-X survives as well. It is disaster for Boom. Divine with the teleport chain across the map as the Mountain Dragon spawns. It's going to be Elder to Divine.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful sandwich coming from Divine. Just cutting off the escape coming from Boom Esports. They just want to get out of there, but they wanted to overstay. Got a little bit too greedy. Wanted to get another tower down before setting up for Baron. Now the losses are just multiplied here because Divine not only gets Elder, but they also get the Baron, and that's 20 seconds on the clock before Xiaoqi arrives in the scene, and it's going to be just too late.
I was going to say, not like Gov has anything to say about it. TP in. Gov does not have anything to say about it.
Quay?
We'll see if Tufts can find anything onto Quay. He does. Takes his anger out. Divine still have 4 players up though, and they've got a permanent damage boost from this Elder, as well as the Baron buff for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, this is going to be 50 seconds, 30 seconds more or less without the Nami. So I feel like Boom can use this as an opportunity to keep pushing through the waves and see if they can get, try to deter any of the sieging coming from Divine Esports, which is gonna be a little bit tough now that Divine is, what do you call this? Sort of getting a bit of map control back, but it is still a very close game. Anyone can still win this. Boom, with a lot of buffs in their hands, Divine having that Elder Drake for themselves, plus Baron buff. I feel like Boom just has to wait it out, has to wait for the Baron buff to expire, because they have 2 teleports on Xiaoqi and Tufts, so they can possibly make a teleport play, go to mid, and perhaps end the game if they're able to get a pick or 2, or maybe wipe Divine.
Look at Tanex just outsourcing. Just letting his minions do the work for him.
I know. He's just gonna be there to be escorting the cannon minions, but now they're dead. Has to wait for another wave.
Not a very good escort, Riku.
Just watching them die, I know.
It's alright, he's got more. Workers always replaceable to Tarnax. He'll bring Divine and the rest of the squad up to the inhibitor turret down bottom, which means there are fewer defenders here in the mid lane. Boom will now hold against Divine in 2 lanes simultaneously, thanks to their very good wave management. Divine coming alive again in the late game. Vanguard's edge cancelled out by a very good tidal wave. Doesn't stop the dive. Wow! Xiaoqi in finds a double kill. Does survive as well. Nothing can be found from Hope. His true shot falls on deaf ears as the stun from Xiaoqi will not get him out for the ignite, but he's still got Tarnax tied down. And what a team fight from Boom! They turn it over Divine.
A beautiful charm coming from Fly Arthur there. I mean, the tidal wave from Koi wasn't enough, and they can just go straight to the Nexus and end the game.
25 on Coyote. Boom, I think, have done it. They march down the mid wave. They've got super minions. This is going to be game number 2 to Boom Esports. And Riku, we have a series.
Yeah, we have a series indeed.
He was building full tank Sin Zhao, this time around topping the damage charts on that Irelia. I think, like you mentioned, this is a great performance from him. And I think this calls back to the stats that we saw prior to the series as well, where his DPM was just so much higher than Lan's, even though Lan is arguably on a better team. And I think that this game came down to Xiao T and Goff when they nailed their combos, when they synced up the Blade Storms into the Gragas cast. I think they looked fantastic. Their team fighting was on point. And the biggest point of concern